Good evening and welcome to TC Network. I am Tingnay Tim Hokip bringing you today's news. Today's top headlines include Kizo women demand justice and protection following mother's death in Jiribam. Strong likelihood of imminent famine in northern Gaza. Food experts warn as Israel continues siege. News in details. Kizo women gathered in Gamgip-Hai Sadar Hills on Friday to protest the death of Jo Sang Kim Mar, a mother of three in Jairam village, Jiribam. Railing under banners denouncing violence, the protesters called for accountability and structural protection, voicing concerns over escalating attacks against Kizo individuals. The protest began with a solemn moment of silence to honor Jo Sang Kim, whom the community reveres as a martyr, symbolizing the increasing vulnerability they face. Details of Jo Sang Kim's killing surfaced on social media, with disturbing footage reportedly showing her being physically assaulted and burned. NG Lun Kipgen, a prominent Kizo leader, condemned the act as an egregious human rights violations. Kipgen called for both national and international bodies to recognize the plight of the Kizo people. The Committee on Tribal Unity (COTU) echoed these demands, questioning the silence from mainstream media and national leaders regarding the incident. The committee voiced its frustration over what it perceived as a lack of action from Delhi, arguing that without government-backed protections, the Kizo community remains susceptible to further violence. Our people cannot endure these attacks in isolation. We demand that our voices be heard and our calls for autonomy and safety be acknowledged, said the COTU representatives. COTU also issued a warning, vowing that the Kizo community would take preventive steps against any future aggression. Our community is prepared to defend itself. We will not tolerate further bloodshed on our lands, said a spokesperson. The War Kizo Intellectual Council, WKZIC General Headquarters, Songpi Lamka, Kuki Hills, India, strongly condemned the heinous and brutal killing of a woman named Mistress Jo Sang Kim Mar, mother of three siblings of 4, 6, and 8 years respectively, who was mercilessly treated worse than wild animals by scooping off her brain and then covered with a blanket and poured petrol and set on fire inside her house into charred after assaulting and raping by the inhuman rapist Meiteis, Arambay Tinggol members on the night of the 7 November 2024, who abrogated the peace agreement between the Meitei CSOs such as ZDO, AGUCA, IPSA, and Hericon JBM, and the tribal Kizo CSOs as Liching, HNU, Mar Inpui, MPC, and PTC respectively, on the 1st August 2024 at the Group Center CRPF, Gayaipur, Kachar, Assam. We strongly condemn this inhuman and barbaric killing and demand for action from law enforcement agencies to ensure a prompt and impartial investigation, and called upon the State and Central Security Forces, CRPF, who was a part of the peace agreement on the 1st of August 2024. We stand in solidarity with the victims' family, human rights organizations, and all those working towards for giving justice to Mistress Jo Sang Kim and her family. On the other hand, the Kuki Women Union Sadar Hills also released a condemnation note dated the 8th of November 2024. The release reads, "The Kuki Women Union Sadar Hills are profoundly dumbfounded to the horrified, merciless, and inhuman killing of Mistress Jo Sang Kim Mar, wife of Mr. Ngurthan Sang Mar, was shot and burned to death inside her home by Meitei armed terrorists Arambay Tinggol at Jairol Pokpi village, Jiribam, around 9 p.m. yesterday, 7 of November 2024. The innocent woman, Mistress Jo Sang Kim Mar, is a mother of 3 children and working as a teacher. Mistress Jo Sang Kim's brain was removed out of head by abominable Meitei terrorists before her house was burned down with her body. This brutality killing was too unjust. Attack by the Meitei gunmen is not only barbaric vicious action against the Kizo community, but also an unlawful violence against the human rights in the Indian constitution of the country, the release states. KW Sadar Hills vehemently condemned the hateful and brutal act of the killing of Mistress Do Sang Kim Mar in the strongest term. We urge the central government to give justice to the innocent woman and arrest the culprit. Together we can with immediate action. Our heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family. May the good Lord Jesus bless the whole family, states the release. 12 leaders from different political parties on November 8 joined the Manipur Congress party. The leaders, 2 former MLAs, 4 former chairmen of ADC Tamenglong, and 6 social workers were welcomed to the party by former Chief Minister Okram Ibobi Singh at the Congress Bhavan in Imphal. Among those who joined the party were former MLAs Kehais Loken Singh and Jet Hikombo Newmight. Meanwhile, Congress General Secretary in charge Communications, Jairam Ramesh, on his official X handle said, "The politics of Manipur is changing. INC India won both the Lok Sabha seats in the state in June 2024, and now the exodus into the Congress continues. This is perhaps one reason why the non-biological PM is refusing to visit Manipur." The leaders who joined the Manipur Congress are Dr. K.H. Loken Singh, ex-MLA Sagolban, AC, former Senior Vice President, JDU. Jat Kikhonbo Newmai, ex-MLA Tamay, AC, former Vice Chairman, HSC National Secretary. NPP Humay Laibo, former Chairman, ADC Tamenglong, Ram Wangdin Abonmai, former member, ADC Tamenglong. MP Guang, former member, ADC Tamenglong. Tadinang Gangmay, former member, ADC Tamenglong. Lavner Chawang, social worker. Adam Tiumay, social worker. Manasan Ohawang, social worker. Atchabaw Newmay, social worker. John Charin Namay, social worker. And Ramtinili, social worker, respectively. Congress advocates nationwide caste survey and lifting 50% reservation cap starting in Telangana to promote social justice and equality. The Congress on Saturday, November 9, 2024, asserted that a nationwide caste survey and the lifting of the Supreme Court's arbitrary ceiling of 50% on reservation for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes are central to its vision for the country. Congress General Secretary in charge Communications, Jairam Ramesh, said in a post on X that the party's government in Telangana will begin its caste survey on Saturday, November 9, 2024. He said 80,000 enumerators will be going door to door over the next few weeks, covering over 1.17 crore households across 33 districts. This is the first time a caste-based survey is being conducted by the government in Telangana since 1931, Mr. Ramesh said. It is a historic revolutionary moment, one that is a realization of the Telangana movement's aspirations for the state and a fulfillment of one of the key ideals of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar's constitution, the Congress General Secretary said. It is also, as Rahul Gandhi noted in Hyderabad earlier this week, a blueprint for the national caste survey that the India coalition governments will conduct, he said. This census and the lifting of the Supreme Court's arbitrary ceiling of 50% on reservations for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other backward classes are central to Congress' vision for the country, Mr. Ramesh said. We are committed to the ideal of social, political, and economic justice in India as laid out in our constitution and as envisioned by India's founding fathers, he asserted. Mr. Gandhi, who attended a meeting organized by Telangana Congress on the caste survey on November 5, had said he was fully committed to ensuring the caste survey in Telangana. In yet another shootout in the national capital, one person was killed and another injured when assailants opened fire at them in Kabir Nagar in Delhi early on Saturday. The incident occurred in the Welcome police station area in Kabir Nagar when the victim was having food at his home in the wee hours of Saturday. The deceased has been identified as Nadeem. 5 rounds of bullets were fired at the victim by the assailants, leading to Nadeem's death on the spot and injury to a minor. Another person who was with the victim at the time of the shootout escaped unhurt. The motorcycle-borne assailant broke into Nadim's house in the wee hours of Saturday, committed the crime and escaped on the victim's scooty. The assailants left their motorcycle at the crime scene and also took the victim's mobile phone with them as they fled. Soon after being informed about the shooting, a police team reached the spot and was identified the cause of the crime. As per Nadim's relatives, the victim was in touch with the people who shot him. The victim's younger brother Najim said, "My brother used to do garment work. Of the 5 rounds fired at Nadim, he sustained 2 bullet wounds, one in the head and another in the spinal cord." An investigation was underway over the reason behind the shootout. Recently, a 40-year-old man and his teenage nephew were shot dead and a 10-year-old boy was injured in Delhi's Shadara on Diwali night. The shocking double murder occurred when the victims were celebrating the festival outside their house in the First Bazaar area. On September 28, gunmen fired shots at the ration shop in Delhi's Nangloi area, triggering panic. Earlier, criminals fired multiple rounds at a car showroom selling luxury vehicles. Before that, a gunman fired shots at a hotel in the Maipalpur area. In a strong retort, India slammed Pakistan for peddling falsehood after it referred to Jammu and Kashmir during a debate on peacekeeping operations in the UN. India chooses its rights to reply in response to the comments made by Pakistan that has yet again made an attempt to divert this august body from its agenda. Member of the Rajya Sabha and national spokesperson of Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, Sudhanshu Trivedi said. His remarks came during a debate on peacekeeping operations at the Special Political and Decolonization for Committee of the UN General Assembly here Friday. Mr. Trivedi asserted that the Union territory of Jammu and Kashmir was, is, and will remain an integral part of India. The people of Jammu and Kashmir have recently exercised their democratic and electoral rights and elected a new government. Pakistan must digest from such rhetoric and falsehood because it will not alter the facts, Mr. Trivedi said. He added that, out of respect for the august members of the UN Forum, India will refrain from responding to any further attempts by Pakistan to abuse the UN procedures. Reforming Europe's economy is all the more urgent following Donald Trump's U.S. election win, warned the author of a blockbuster report, Mario Draghi, ahead of talks Friday with EU leaders in Budapest on tackling the challenge. Although Europe's public reaction to the Republicans' return has been cautious, officials are on full alert over the implications for the EU economy if he delivers on his threats and slaps higher tariffs. Ex-European Central Bank head, Dr. Draghi was tasked last year with preparing the economic report that EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen will use to steer her next 5 years in office. Published in September, the sweeping document raised the alarm over Europe's failure to keep up with the United States, pointing to the EU's low productivity and economic slowdown. The recommendations in this report are already urgent, given the economic situation we are in today. They have become even more urgent after the U.S. elections, Dr. Draghi said. The former Italian Prime Minister rejected a wholly pessimistic take on Mr. Trump's return. There is no doubt that the Trump presidency will make a big difference in the relations between the United States and Europe. Not necessarily all in a negative sense, but certainly we must take note, Dr. Draghi said. With Germany mired in political turmoil, divergent national interests and bitter disagreements over how to face the challenges head-on, there is no guarantee that the EU will be able to step up, but Dr. Draghi has warned that failure to hit his recommendations would lead to the bloc's slow agony of decline. Arriving for Friday's summit, EU Chief Charles Michel said Draghi's report formed an excellent basis for talks and that everything is on the table, especially financing. There is a strong likelihood that famine is imminent in areas of the northern Gaza Strip, a committee of global food security experts warned on Friday, as Israel claims to be pursuing a military offensive against Palestinian militant group Hamas in the area. Immediate action within days, not weeks, is required from all actors who are directly taking part in the conflict or have influence on its conduct to avert and elevate this catastrophic situation, the Independent Famine Review Committee (FRC) said in a rare alert. The warning comes just days ahead of a U.S. deadline for Israel to improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza, which the UN said almost a year ago had been made uninhabitable by Israeli attacks or faced potential restrictions on U.S. military aid. The Biden administration has previously demanded that Israel allow in more aid but done little to enforce its request, even reportedly ignoring its own agencies after they concluded that Israel had deliberately blocked deliveries of food and medicines to Gaza. U.S. law requires that weapons shipments be cut off to countries that prevent the delivery of U.S.-backed aid. Israel's mission to the UN in New York did not immediately respond to a request for comment, Reuters reported. If not effective action is taken by stakeholders with influence, the scale of this looming catastrophe is likely to dwarf anything we have seen so far in the Gaza Strip since 7 October 2023, the FRC committee said. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs estimates there are between 75,000 and 95,000 people still in northern Gaza. The Famine Review Committee said it could be assumed that starvation, malnutrition, and excess mortality due to malnutrition and disease are rapidly increasing in northern Gaza. Famine thresholds may have already been crossed or else will be in the near future, the Global Hunger Monitor said. The daily average number of trucks entering Gaza in late October was about 58 per day. Jean-Martin Boer, the UN World Food Programme's Director of Food Security and Nutrition Analysis, said on Friday. We were getting about 200 a day in September and August, so that's really a big decline. Aid agencies have previously said at least 600 trucks a day are needed to avert famine. That is all for today's news, and have a pleasant evening ahead.